This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 on Good Morning Indiana, Attorney General Curtis Hill could face punishment after a recommendation by the Indiana Disciplinary Commission. The actions they're suggesting in connection with his sexual misconduct allegations.
And construction on a major hotel project in Speedway has been stalled for months. What town officials say is causing that delay.
And in this season of giving, a new effort to help others in need is taking off in central Indiana. Our Kelsey Anderson gives us a look at the online exchange campaign. Here at 5 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, we want to thank you for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. We have Todd Clausen with us this morning to break down our forecast. Todd, today's commute looking much smoother than what we had last
year. You know, temperatures are below freezing, though, so you do have to be a little bit careful for a few slick spots. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that compacted snow and the slush on the roadways. That was all cleared off nicely by the road crews yesterday, and the sun definitely helped yesterday as well. Temperatures, as I mentioned, though, well below freezing. You need to bundle up and watch for a little bit of refreezing in spots. 17 right now in Richmond, 20 in Crawfordsville, 22 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. Martinsville down to 20 degrees. And here is the view from IMS back towards downtown. And you notice that the skyline isn't crystal clear here. There is a little bit of cloud cover out there, and there are a few flurries as well. The flurries are not going to amount to anything as far as any accumulation. Just don't be shocked if you see them. And it's part of just a little band of cloud cover that is working its way through this morning. You notice the sky's clear in Chicago and northwest Indiana. So you just got to be a little bit patient here this morning. This band of cloud cover will go through. Once it does go through, we have plenty of sunshine in the forecast for you for the remainder of the day. With that said, though, it is cold today. Temperatures really don't do a whole lot. 22 degrees by the noon hour with our high temperature this afternoon, Lauren, only getting up to 25 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here's a live look right now at traffic over on the west side. This is I-465 and Crawfordsville Road. Traffic here is traveling up to speed, and you can see for the most part interstates are clear from any snow. Ramps, as you can see, there may be little patches of slick spots out there, as Todd was mentioning. So still use a little bit of caution as you're heading out there, but I think you'll be just fine for your morning commute this Wednesday.
The state Supreme Court's Disciplinary Commission says Attorney General Curtis Hill should have his law license suspended, which could mean he would have to leave office. The recommendation comes after an October hearing on accusations that Hill inappropriately touched a state lawmaker and 3 female legislative aides at a party in March of 2018. The commission's report recommended that Hill lose his law license for 2 years because his alleged conduct has harmed the public perception of the Attorney General's office. The hearing officer will make her own recommendation of punishment, with the Indiana Supreme Court having the final say. It's unclear whether a suspension would bar Hill from holding office, but state law requires the Attorney General to have a law license.
It's 5:03 and RTV6 is working to get answers this morning after construction on a major hotel project out in Speedway came to an abrupt halt. The building is on a piece of land right across the street from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Residents in the area say that work has been at a standstill for months now. The Redevelopment Commission addressed the issue at a meeting Monday night. They say that holdup is with the developer, Loftus Robinson.
They're continuing to work through their issues, and we hope to have those resolved soon.
Well, town leaders say the agreement with Loftus Robinson allowed for work to stop for up to 180 days. Time for that, it's running out with the deadline set around the 1st of the year. Town leaders have not said what's next if the developer violates that timeline. We've requested a copy of that agreement, and we're waiting to hear back. We've also reached out to Loftus Robinson, but we have not yet received a response.
It is no secret that the holidays can be stressful, whether you're hosting an event or even just trying to get presents under the tree.
And to alleviate some of that stress, a post is circulating on social media. It's urging people to ask for help for what they need or give what they can. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning. And Kelsey, I've seen this post a lot on Facebook chatter groups. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the post reads in part, what is one thing you need that someone else may have? And it's a post that urges people to post what they're in need of or what they have lying around. Now, we've seen people give Christmas decorations, small kitchen appliances, and even help others find resources or companies willing to do work they may need around their house. I spoke with a Danville woman who, after seeing the post somewhere else, posted it in all of the Facebook groups that she's a part of, and she says seeing the responses was overwhelming.
The first day, it just kind of like blew my mind. It was like over 100 people were liking it and viewing it. I mean, you just never know who needs what. And if you got it, give it.
Several of Countryman's posts now have more than 1,000 comments. And we want to remind you this morning that if you are taking part in these posts, either giving or receiving, make sure you are doing it safely. You can utilize one of the safe swap zones that are all over the state and make sure that someone knows where you're going. Now, Countryman says she plans to repost this message once a month in hopes of keeping this spirit of giving going even after the holiday season. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Well, I love that, Kelsey. Thank you so much. It is 5:05. This next story has already been shared hundreds of times since we first posted it on our Facebook page. Dozens of you are calling a Hancock County woman an angel for what she left behind after she passed away. Patricia Pope from Greenfield worked as a receptionist at Eli Lilly for almost 30 years. People who knew her said that she lived modestly. That's why it came as a huge surprise when she left a total of $3 million to various local organizations after she passed. That includes $500,000 each for Greenfield Central High School and Eastern Hancock County High School. The school district says that they will use that money for scholarships.
I guess her parents divorced when she was young, so that she was unable to afford to go to college. So she was a firm believer in education.
Pope left another $500,000 to the Greenfield Hancock County Animal Management, and thousands of dollars will go to the Greenfield Police Department and the Hancock County Sheriff's Office. Because Pope was an animal lover, that money will go towards the department's canine programs. So cool.
Just amazing. A shelter in Henry County is searching for the person who left behind a box of priceless heirlooms in one of their rooms. The guest house posted these pictures on Facebook of the items that were left behind. The shelter serves men experiencing homelessness in Henry County. The assistant director says this box containing military service ribbons and a medal was left behind in the drawer of a desk in a private room. The guest house says they think the items belong to a Gerald W. Wilson who served in World War II. If you recognize the name or these heirlooms, or you want to share this story, you can head to theindychannel.com. Helping the homeless is one of Mayor Joe Hogsett's big initiatives, and he spent time Tuesday meeting with a local program helping those in need. The mayor visited Horizon House, which spends time checking on those homeless camps and helps them find housing. He spent time with Horizon House to see what kind of help they and other organizations need to continue to provide these resources for the homeless.
They talk to the individuals. They hear from them in terms of what are some of the challenges, what are some of the barriers, right? And then we as a community of the social services and with the government and so forth, we can then have more discussions about the solutions that we can bring to the table.
With support from Mayor Hogsett's office so far, Horizon House says it has been able to find homes for 177 people since April of 2018.
The owners of this coffee shop recognize that this may be a lonely time of year for many people so they'll be opening their doors and opening their arms to anyone who wants some company on Christmas Day. Needhammer Coffee Company will open on Christmas Day from noon until 3 in the afternoon. They say that they'll have free donuts, hot coffee, and goodwill to anyone who shows up that day. The owners opened the coffee shop on Christmas last year, and that gesture meant a lot to the more than 150 people who needed it. Many of the employees made sure to block out that time on Christmas Day to be at the coffee shop. They're still looking for donations of donuts from other coffee shops in the area.
A teenager from Northeast Indiana will sing the national anthem before the Colts' final home game Sunday. The Colts announced that 14-year-old Jensen Snyder of Waterloo is this year's Phantom Contest winner. She will lead the national anthem before the fan appreciation game against the Carolina Panthers. Jensen is a freshman at Garrett High School and knew from an early age she loved to sing. She currently sings with the Fort Wayne Children's Choir and is a regular performer at churches, fundraisers, coffee shops, and other events. About 250 people entered this year's contest. All right, Todd, well, I think some of us may be singing the blues this morning when we step out our front door and just feel how cold it is.
Yeah, you know, I walked out and all of a sudden that snow went from that nice, pleasant, fluffy snow to nothing but crunch out there with these chilly temperatures and with some melting that has taken place here over the course of the past few days. Yesterday when the sun was out, 22 degrees is the current temperature. The winds out of the west at 14 miles per hour. And these temperatures, unfortunately, are not going to do much throughout the day today. So today today's high temperature is the coldest I have in our extended forecast. Tomorrow morning's low temperature is the coldest that I have, and before the nice warm-up heads our way. So if you think that this is a chilly out there, you definitely need to bundle up tomorrow morning. 22 in Indy right now. It's 21 in Bloomington. As we work our way throughout the course of the day today, we have a little bit of cloud cover out there currently. That will give way to sunshine by the noon hour, but there's that temperature. Again, basically holds steady, if not goes down a degree. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. Thousands gathering to make their voices heard over the president's impeachment investigation. Coming up, their message as the House prepares to vote on charges later today.
And a woman is dead after debris fell from a building in Times Square. Still ahead, why officials say the building's owner knew about the safety issue.
And here's a live look right now at traffic on the northwest side, I-465 at West 46th Street, where everything's traveling up to speed. Time right now is 5:10. We'll be right back after this short break.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. Time right now is 5:13. Here's a live look at traffic over on the northeast side, I-465 and Pendleton Pike. You can see traffic here is moving along just fine, northbound and southbound. No issues to slow you down.
Tens of thousands of people across the country rallied to show support for the impeachment investigation against President Donald Trump. Rallies were held in multiple cities, including Chicago, Miami, and Los Angeles, on the eve of the House's vote on the issue. The president is being charged with articles of impeachment, abuse of power, and obstructing Congress. This is all in connection to his alleged conduct with Ukraine. People in New York met outside Senator Chuck Schumer's office to rally for impeachment. Others held signs and chanted, hoping to make their voices heard.
We are here to defend our democracy. Trump has committed multiple impeachable offenses, and we want to tell our elected officials like Mitch McConnell and Andy Barr that we're not going to remain silent on this issue.
The House is expected to vote in favor of impeachment later today. The process would then go over to the Senate for a trial. President Trump maintains he did nothing wrong.
Amid the impeachment vote, the House did approve a new $1 trillion spending deal for 2020 as the government tries to avoid another shutdown. They approved a $1.4 trillion spending package, which includes a military pay raise, funding for election security, and raising the federal tobacco purchasing age to 21. The deal would also maintain funding for a border wall and repeal 3 health care taxes used to fund the Affordable Care Act. The Senate still has to vote, and President Trump must sign this by Friday to prevent a government shutdown.
The Board of Trustees at the University of Cincinnati has voted to remove the name of a slave owner from one of its schools. Charles McMicken left money and property to start the school after he died in 1858. His name was placed on the school's College of Arts and Sciences. Historians say McMicken both owned and sold slaves. He also reportedly fathered at least 2 children with enslaved women. The university says his name will be removed from diplomas, advertising, and the school's website. His name will remain on the school's building, but digital displays are being added to tell more of the story.
At 5:16, a woman is dead after she was struck by a fallen piece of debris in Times Square. 60-year-old Erica Tishman was walking on the sidewalk when part of the building's facade broke off and fell. It reportedly came from a building on the corner of 49th Street and 7th Avenue. Tishman, an architect, was pronounced dead at the scene. That location has received violations from the city's Department of Buildings, including failure to maintain the facade. Officials say the building owner is cooperating with that investigation.
Several homes are damaged after a tornado touched down in southern Georgia. According to the National Weather Service, a tornado hit in Ocilla, and they suspect another hit farther north. Multiple buildings, including an old schoolhouse, were badly damaged. Officials say thankfully no one was hurt. The storm comes after multiple deadly tornadoes were reported in Mississippi and Alabama on Monday. And here at home, while the South was dealing with this, we were dealing with snowfall. Todd, this number behind you, incredible.
Right? You know, keep in mind that we don't really see a ton of snow in December. We average a little over 6 inches of snow, but we had a little bit in November as well. So when you take what's fallen the past 2 days and add it to what fell late in November, almost 10.5 inches of snow has fallen already this winter season. As far as what we normally see, our average winter, we get about 26 inches of snow. So we're almost halfway there. And of course, we have the rest of this month, which actually looks fairly mild. And then we have January, February, and even March to get through. So this is the most snow we've seen in December in quite some time. As far as the snow out there right now, it's not melting with the sun down, but once the sun comes up later on this afternoon, even with these chilly temperatures like yesterday, you'll notice to start to melt a little bit. 21 in Bloomington, 23 in Tipton, Greenfield, you're at 21 degrees, 17 in Richmond. So today's a chilly day for us. We really don't see our temperatures warm much at all. They'll hold pretty steady this morning and then eventually start to fall off later on this afternoon as the sun starts to set. You notice how that temperature goes from the 20s at 4 p.m. and then once the sun has set already between 5 and 6 o'clock, temperatures drop down into the mid-teens, and that's a foresight of what's going to come tomorrow morning. So the radar is quiet. That is the good news. Throw on the clouds, and you notice that we do have an overcast sky this morning. There's a few flurries out there that the radar just can't pick up, but any accumulating snow is going to be confined here up into the Fort Wayne area, and most of that is just some lake effect enhanced snow. But this band of cloud cover will work its way through the area during the course of the morning hours, and by the time we get to mid-morning, it's mostly sunny in northern locations, still a little lingering cloud cover to the south. And then as we continue into the afternoon hours, skies will be mostly sunny. So just got to be a little bit patient here this morning. We get rid of the clouds, and then we have clear skies. Temperatures tonight drop off very, very quickly. Sunset is at 5:23. By 11 p.m. down to 13 degrees. As you wake up tomorrow morning to start your Thursday, temperatures in the single digits in most locations, especially in and around the metro area over towards Muncie and Richmond, where there's a little more of a snowpack. Up to the north, the snowpack's not as thick, still cold at 8 degrees, but that's why Indianapolis is actually running a little bit colder, which is fairly unusual when we talk about low temperatures. And then tomorrow, despite the really, really cold start, temperatures do moderate back up into the 30s by tomorrow afternoon, so it turns into a decent day for us, a bright day for us. And as we go over your 7-day planning forecast, watch what happens as we work our way into the weekend. The 40s come back. Our average high is 38, so we go above normal by Saturday and Sunday, and then Christmas week is going to be very mild. Some locations could be hitting 50 degrees. No big storms in sight. That is great news for travel. That is bad news, though, Lauren, for those looking for a white Christmas.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic up in Fishers, I-69 at 106th Street. You can see traffic here is moving along just fine. The interstates are clear from snow this morning, so that is great news. Watch out for any slick spots you may encounter, though. A few of those are still out there this morning. Let's take a look at our traffic now map. Plan out your drive heading in from the east side on I-70, traveling in the westbound direction from Post Road to I-65 at the north split. No delays. It's a 10-minute drive, so things are traveling back up to speed this morning. Let's travel over to the west side, I-70 near High School Road. Traffic here looks to be moving along up to speed. We'll continue to keep an eye out for any crashes or delays.
More kids are picking up marijuana vapes over other forms of pot and fast. That's according to a report released this morning from the National Institute on Drug Abuse and the University of Michigan. It shows 1 in 5 high school students vaped THC in the last year. Overall, marijuana use has held steady, however, meaning students are using vapes more often than other methods. This is concerning for health officials due to the recent illnesses from vaping black market THC.
While Americans with Disabilities Act is in place, it still doesn't mean that every building is accessible for everyone. A new app called iAccess Life is hoping to help with those with disabilities identify the places that best accommodate them. It works like Yelp for those who are mobility impaired to leave reviews about different locations. The creator says he hopes to expand the app for those with visual and hearing impairments as well. iAccess is free to download for iPhone and Android. Well, firefighters out in California had to make a strange rescue after the break. How this dog and cat both ended up at the top of a tree.
Oh, no. All right. And you're going to want to harness those Jedi powers. Stay tuned for your chance to win tickets to see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in theaters and a special Star Wars prize pack. It's 5:21. We'll be right back.
Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Welcome back. It is 5:25. Here's a live look at your downtown commute. I-65, a view from Fletcher Avenue. Traffic here between the north and south splits is moving along just fine.
Firefighters are known to rescue cats stuck in trees, but what about German Shepherds. Last week, firefighters in California did just that. The dog's owner called 911 after her German Shepherd named Baby ran up a tree while chasing a cat. She says she took the dog off the leash for a few minutes and found Baby perched high up in a tree. When fire crews got the call, they said they could not believe it.
I took a chuckle. I thought, well, this is a first, and I immediately placed a phone call to find out if somebody was kidding with me.
Oh my goodness. Well, they used a ladder to get the dog down safely. The cat quickly jumped off on its own.
Those German Shepherds, they're determined.
Seriously. Wow.
That is so funny. I'm glad to see the dog's okay.
Yes, yes. And did very, very well.
And the cat.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Todd, if people are taking the dog for a walk this morning, they're going to need to bundle up.
Need to bundle up your dog too, as temperatures are down in the 20s in most locations here this morning. 22 in Indianapolis, 25 in Kokomo, 24 in Muncie. The radar's quiet. There's a few flurries out there that radar is not picking up, but they will not cause any issues on the roadways. The bigger issue is the cold and the snow and the ice that's already on the ground. Look for a few slick spots possible here this morning with some refreezing that took place once the sun set yesterday evening. Highs today, chilly, only into the mid to upper 20s across the area. When you factor in a little bit of a breeze, these temperatures are going to feel more like the teens. Tomorrow morning's the coldest temperature in my 7-day planning forecast. We'll talk about that and look ahead to Christmas coming up the next half hour.
Sounds good, Todd. Thanks. After more than 140 homicides this year, many of the cases remain unsolved. Coming up on Good Morning Indiana, what families are doing to remember those lost and push for answers.
RTV6 is working for you.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Metro Police have investigated 147 homicides so far this year, and many of them remain unsolved.
This is obviously the incorrect video here, but in a moment we will show you how a group of victims and their family members are coming together, making a plea for closure ahead of the holidays. And it's the holiday season, and that means a lot of people are getting into the spirit of giving.
That's right. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with a look at a viral grassroots effort that's connecting the community together and helping local people in need. But before we get to our top stories on this Wednesday morning, we got to talk about the weather outside.
Yeah, it is frightful. Thankfully, the snow has stopped, but the cold has moved in and is taking over, Todd.
Yeah, you know, we have to get through about 24 to about 36 hours of cold here, ladies, and then clear sailing for the rest of the week. But definitely bundle up this morning and grab those sunglasses as well. You probably noticed yesterday afternoon, if you were driving or walking around, it seemed a little brighter, and that's with all that snow on the ground, very reflective, so you're probably squinting a little more than you normally would on a winter day. So have those handy if you're going to be out and about throughout the day today. We're in the 20s right now, and around the metro area, 21 in Plainfield and 22 in Zions, as well as Lawrence, Pendleton, 22 degrees as well. You factor in just a little bit of a wind. It feels like 9 though here in Indy. 12 is what it feels like in Bloomington. So again, the warm weather gear really needed this morning. The skies are cloudy currently, and there's a few flurries out there, but the clearing line already in northwest Indiana. So that will continue from a northwest to southeast direction. Further south you have to wait a little longer to get into the sunshine, but we all get there pretty quickly here by mid-morning, and then plenty of sunshine later on this afternoon. The problem is, even with that sunshine, temperatures really don't warm much at all here throughout the day today, staying in the low to mid-20s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look at your downtown commute. I-65 here between the north and south splits. This is a view from Fletcher Avenue. You can see traffic is picking up this morning, but it's traveling up to speed. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at your drive times, planning out your commute. Heading in from Brownsburg to the west side, State Road 267 traveling eastbound on I-74. It is a 7-minute drive to the I-465 ramps. No issues there. So let's hop down on I-70, give you a live look here near High School Road, where traffic is moving along just fine. We'll continue to keep our eyes on the roads and let you know if there are any crashes or delays.
Today, the woman convicted of hitting and killing 3 children at a Fulton County bus stop last year is scheduled to be sentenced. Alyssa Shepard is facing up to 21.5 years in prison. Siblings Olivia Stahl and her 2 brothers, Mason and Xavier Engel, died. Another child, Maverick Lowe, was also injured in the crash. In October, Shepard was found guilty on 3 counts of reckless homicide, 1 count of passing a school bus causing injury, and 1 count of criminal recklessness resulting in serious injury. Her sentencing is scheduled for this afternoon.
It's 5:33. A group of Indianapolis families looking back on a year of loss. So far this year, Metro Police have investigated 147 homicides, and many of those cases remain unsolved. One of the crimes was the deadly shooting of Shane Spells. The 24-year-old was shot and killed in his own driveway over Labor Day weekend. Last night, Shane's name was one of several read at a vigil hosted by Grace Apostolic Church and IMPD. Families gathered at the church made a plea for anyone with any information on any of these unsolved cases to please come forward with information.
It's rough, because that's all we think about, you know, because we don't know who's who. Like my husband said, we go to the mall, and we don't know if the person is walking right past us, you know. We don't know. The unknown is real scary.
IMPD detectives tell us that Shane's case is far from cold and it's still an active investigation. If you have any information, you're asked to call IMPD detectives, or you can leave an anonymous tip by dialing 317-262-TIPS.
With just 1 week until Old St. Nick comes to town, hundreds of Hoosiers are getting into the giving spirit.
And our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning to tell us a little bit more about a post on social media that's going in almost every Facebook chatter page and is helping people in need this holiday season. Kelsey, tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, good morning. So for some people, just putting Christmas gifts under the tree each year is stressful. And I spoke to a Danville woman who is posting a call to action on Facebook in hopes of making this season a little brighter.
I mean, you just never know who needs what. And if you got it, give it.
Kathy Countryman is talking about a post that seems to be all over Facebook.
I just read the post and I thought, what a wonderful idea.
So she posted it to all the chatter pages she's a part of. The post reads in part, "What is one thing you need that you cannot afford right now? Let's see if others have it and don't need it any longer." It's a post that urges people to post what they're in need of or what they have lying around.
The first day, it just kind of like blew my mind. It was like over 100 people were liking it and viewing it.
If you find yourself taking part in these posts, we want to remind you to be safe. Whether you're picking up or dropping off an item, do it at a safe swap zone, and also make sure someone knows where you're going.
I need this more than just Christmas time.
She says while most are looking for a helping hand, some commenters are bringing a sense of humor to what can often be a stressful season.
You know, like someone needing a new butt because their butt's cracked, you know? I love it. Everybody needs to laugh.
Countryman says it's nice to see this post spreading across social media.
And it's a good contagious thing. Instead of having the flu going around, we can have giving going around.
Countryman says she plans to post this post once a month in hopes of keeping the Christmas spirit going. And we've also got a list of safe swap zones listed for you over on the RTV6 News app. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
A great story there. Thank you, Kelsey. Indianapolis public school teachers and staff will have bigger paychecks to look forward to just in time for the holidays. Millions of dollars in IPS pay raises will begin this week. The school district approved $31 million for raises last month. The money comes from a multi-million-dollar referendum approved by voters to help the district retain quality staff. Of the $31 million that is, 30 will go to teacher pay and the remaining $1 million will go to other school staff.
And speaking of IPS, Superintendent Alicia Johnson says she's waiting for the State Board of Education to determine who will get control of Emma Donnan Middle School, Howe High School, and Manual High School. Johnson says if IPS regains control of the schools, the district will likely seek out partnerships with third parties. For example, IPS has shown interest in having Crystal House operate out of Manual. A final decision from the Department of Education is expected next month. Indiana State Troopers rushed into action to save a dog who was wandering onto a local interstate after escaping from a wrecked vehicle. State police say that a car ran off the road on I-465 on the west side around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, rolling several times. Troopers say that a dog named Poppy escaped and began wandering on the busy interstate. Well, state police and INDOT, they used those traffic cameras to find Poppy on 465. They closed a lane of traffic, got the dog in their car. We can tell you Poppy is okay, and the driver of the car that was in the wreck That driver is recovering. So a good news story there after some treacherous conditions out there yesterday, Todd, but thankfully today things are much more calm.
Yeah, you know, the snow obviously departed yesterday morning. We're still left with snow on the ground, and there's a little bit of patchy ice out there from melting and then refreezing with temperatures this morning. But yeah, no issues like we saw the past 2 mornings for our morning commute, so that is good news. The skies this morning are mostly cloudy. Don't be shocked if you see a few flurries here this morning, but they're not going to cause any issues on the roadways. You may just have to throw your windshield wipers on briefly, and that flurry threat is really coming to an end. Temperatures, though, the big issue this morning, only in the low 20s for most of us. So the clouds are in place this morning, breaking apart now a little bit up here as you work your way into the Logansport area. Be a little bit patient, especially in southern areas, but this band of clouds will work their way through from northwest to southeast, so we will get into plenty of sunshine later on this afternoon. However, with that sunshine, it's still a chilly day for us, with temperatures that'll only be in the low to mid 20s.
That family is fixing to have a wonderful Christmas. They just got the best Christmas present they'll ever get in their entire life.
2 Florida kids at the center of an Amber Alert are now back with their loved ones, where they were found and what police believe happened.
And may the force be with you. Coming up just after the break, your chance to win tickets to see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in theaters and a special Star Wars prize pack. That's coming up. Time right now is 5:39. We'll be right back.
Oh, what a relief it is. So fast.
The Democratic-led U.S. House of Representatives is expected to vote on whether to impeach President Trump today, setting up a trial in Republican-controlled Senate.
Ahead of the historic vote, the president sending an extraordinary personal 6-page letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, railing against what he calls a legal partisan attempted coup. ABC's Inez de la Cutera is on Capitol Hill with more.
Capping off months of investigation and weeks of public hearings, today the U.S. House of Representatives is set to impeach President Trump, just the 3rd time in U.S. history that's ever happened. President Trump is accused of obstructing Congress and abusing the power of his office for personal gain when he pressured the leader of Ukraine to investigate his political opponents.
And Mr. President, do you take any responsibility for the fact that you're about to be impeached?
No, I don't take any, zero, to put it mildly.
In a scathing 6-page letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the president slamming impeachment, calling it an illegal partisan attempted coup and accusing Pelosi of declaring open war on American democracy, and adding more due process was afforded to those accused in the Salem witch trials. Speaker Pelosi responding on CNN, calling the letter ridiculous.
I haven't really fully read it. We've been working. I've seen the essence of it, though, and it's really sick.
And in her own letter to Democrats, writing, if we do not act, we will be derelict in our duty. After a procedural vote, House members will get one last chance to debate the 2 formal articles of impeachment. They'll have 6 hours to do so, with time equally split between parties. The final vote will be held immediately after and is expected to pass along party lines, with even many moderate Democrats from Trump's swing districts coming out in support of impeachment.
I wasn't elected to do what's politically safe. I was elected to do what I think is right.
Lawmakers are now looking ahead to that impending Senate trial. Democrats want to hear from 4 witnesses that the White House had blocked from testifying, including acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has already indicated he has no intention to call witnesses. Inez de la Cutera, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
A Christmas miracle. That's how police are describing the outcome of a massive manhunt for these 2 Florida children who were missing for days. 6-year-old Braxton Williams and his 5-year-old sister Bria vanished from their front yard in Jacksonville Sunday morning. Their disappearance triggered an Amber Alert, a massive law enforcement response, including canines, dive teams, and drones. Tuesday afternoon, a group of rescuers found the siblings in a dilapidated pump house in a wooded area. And despite being lost for more than 2 days, investigators say the children seem to be in good health.
Because they're lively and talkative, and asked for a cheese pizza that we quickly delivered to them. So they're currently at a local hospital for observation. But besides being a little bit dehydrated and a couple bumps of bruises, they're in good shape.
Just amazing. Authorities believe the 2 just wandered off.
At 5:45, Pope Francis has issued a declaration to lift Vatican secrecy rules for sex abuse cases. The move will allow the Catholic Church to provide documents related to the sex abuse cases to authorities. Victims will also be able to stay in the loop about the outcome of their cases at the Vatican. The declaration leaves in place privacy rules around reporting sex abuse. The Pope also changed the Vatican's definition of child pornography, increasing the age of the subject from 14 or under to 18 or under.
An ancient piece of chewing gum discovered in Denmark is giving scientists new insights into the Stone Age. Amazingly, there was viable DNA found in a hunk of birch pitch, which functioned like chewing gum. From the DNA results, scientists were able to paint a picture of the young girl who chewed it 5,700 years ago. The scientists named the girl Lola. She had blue eyes, dark skin, and dark hair. They found out her last meal was mallard duck and hazelnuts, and she was lactose intolerant. And even though she lived in Scandinavia, she is more closely related to the hunter-gatherers on the European mainland. This is the first time ancient DNA has been extracted by something other than bone. Researchers hope to use this technology to revolutionize our understanding of our ancient ancestors.
Pretty wild.
That is wild. All right, Todd, what are we looking at weather-wise for our Wednesday?
You know, it's a nice quiet day for us. With that said, it's a cold day for us. So you definitely need to bundle up here, not only this morning, but really throughout the day. So this morning we have clouds in place, and there's a few flurries out there as well. But those will both move out, and we'll have lots of sunshine heading into the afternoon hours. Here's the view from downtown, looking off towards the east, and you can see the clouds in place and some flurries out there because you're restricting the view of the downtown skyline with those flurries. It's not going to amount to anything on the roadways, but I know I had to throw on my windshield wipers just a couple times on my way into work. It almost seemed like drizzle, but it's not drizzle, with a temperature of 22 degrees. The wind's out of the west at 14 miles per hour, and anywhere you go this morning, it is cold. 18 right now in Richmond, 21 in Greencastle, as well as Crawfordsville. 21 is the current temperature as you make your way down into portions of the Columbus area. So throughout the morning hours, the clouds will move out. The temperatures will hold steady, though. We'll only be right around 23 degrees at the noon hour, but we will have sunshine at that point. And then look what happens to the temperatures throughout the afternoon. 2 p.m. still sunny at 22 degrees. Soon as the sun sets this evening, which is at 5:23, temperatures drop off very quickly. By 6 p.m., we are down to 17 degrees, and then I'll show you where we end up come tomorrow morning. But here are those clouds that are in place, already clearing, though, in northwest Indiana. That clearing will continue to move off in a southeasterly direction. Do not worry about this snow drifting in off of Lake Michigan unless you are traveling up towards the Fort Wayne area. Then you'll run into a little bit of accumulation, but nothing here in central Indiana. As the skies start to clear, it'll set us up for a bright afternoon all across the area. Here are those temperatures by this time tomorrow morning. Single digits for most of us. About 10 degrees in Columbus, 11 in Bloomington. Factor in a little bit of a wind tomorrow. Wind chill values to start our Thursday are going to be below 0. It's the coldest morning we have in our extended forecast. And then throughout the day tomorrow, it's sunny. And despite the really, really cold start, we get back up into the 30s for your Thursday. We'll look ahead to the weekend quickly for you. Saturday and Sunday, look at the warmer air that starts to work its way back in. We get into the 40s. That puts us above normal. We stay in the 40s for next week, leading all the way up and through Christmas with temperatures that'll be anywhere from about 45 to 50 degrees. Lauren?
Todd, thank you. Here is a live look right now at our Traffic Now maps. No crashes to report around the metro area. Southbound I-69 heading through Hamilton County. It's a 14-minute drive from State Road 13 down to the I-465 ramps. No delays there. Taking a look at the downtown area, I-70 at the North Split. Traffic in this area is traveling up to speed. No major issues to slow you down.
Google has unveiled its version of iMessage for Android phones in the U.S. The new service is called Chat. It has tools that mirror Apple iMessage, including read receipts, a symbol that indicates when people are typing, and the ability to send higher resolution images and videos on Android devices. To get it, Android users need to update both their Messages app and, in some cases, their carrier services. And like Apple's iMessage, Android users can opt into the service or disable it if they don't want it.
A toy maker out in Pennsylvania is introducing its first female soldier figurine. BMC Toys out in Scranton. It's one of the nation's largest toy makers of those little green army men. The company says the response was overwhelming after it added one little green army woman to the lineup, so it was a no-brainer to expand the line, which will soon include 12 figurines of women in combat. The first full line of female soldiers is expected to be available for Christmas next year.
3 hours. That's how long Coca-Cola says it took for its new subscription service to sell out. The Coca-Cola Insiders Club was launched Monday. It gives members the chance to taste some of the 20-plus new drinks being released in 2020 without waiting for them to hit stores. Only 1,000 memberships were up for grabs, but there is still hope for those wanting a subscription. The company says people can join the waiting list to be notified when more spots open up.
New year, new Bell. Taco Bell is revamping its dollar menu in the year 2020. The fast food chain announcing it will be adding 21 new offerings to its dollar menu. To kick things off, double-stacked tacos are returning. They'll be available in 3 flavors: Nacho Crunch, Chipotle Cheddar, and Reaper Ranch. The double-stacked tacos will be available for $1 on the Cravings menu for a limited time starting December 26th.
All right, Star Wars fans, here is the moment you have been waiting for. Right now, it's your chance to win 2 tickets to see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in theaters. The film debuts in theaters tomorrow night. And that's not all. The winner will also get a special Star Wars prize pack. All you have to do is be the 6th caller right now at 317-269-1459. And if you don't win right now, don't worry. We're giving away more tickets later this morning. We'll be right back.
A server at a New Jersey IHOP was the lucky recipient of a very generous tip this past weekend. What started out as just a regular shift for Angelica Alicia ended in tears of joy. She was just 2 hours into her workday when she took on a party of 12. When it came time to settle the bill, the group gave her a $1,200 tip. Angelica says that she thought it was a mistake and she tried to give the money back, but they told her to keep the money and said Merry Christmas. Angelica, who is a single mom of 2 girls, says that money will allow them to rest easy this holiday season.
It means a lot, you know, especially when you work day to day, not knowing, you know, if you'll be able to provide for the next day.
The group is part of the annual nationwide trend called Shock and Claws, where customers leave huge tips for deserving waiters and waitresses. Always love those stories, especially in the holiday season.
And I have a hunch we'll probably be seeing a lot more stories like that here in the next week and a half or so as the holiday season rolls on. Well, Todd, we have a white forecast out there right now with all the snow on the ground. It's cold, but things are going to warm up, so chances of having a white Christmas
pretty low.
Pretty low right now.
0.
Okay.
Wow.
Not going to happen here in central Indiana. Yeah, we have the snow now, but by the weekend, it's all gone. Temperatures this morning are in the 20s and about 22 in Indianapolis, 25 in Muncie. And we do have a few flurries that are out there. Those flurries will continue to diminish here this morning. And even if you do see them, they are not going to cause any issues out there on the roadways. Today, we only get up to 25 degrees, so there will be some melting once we get into the sunshine this afternoon after a little bit of cloud cover this morning. But then watch for a little refreezing overnight tonight. The real warm-up doesn't start until tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk more about that and look ahead to that Christmas forecast coming up in the next half hour.
Todd, thanks. Coming up in the next half hour, also construction on a major hotel project in Speedway has been stalled for months now. What town officials say is causing the delay and when they expect that project to finally be finished.
During the holidays, you may be feeling extra generous, but there's no time to let your guard down. Coming up, John Matarese will break down some of the top scams that you need to watch out for so you don't waste your money. It's 5:57. We'll be right back.